Hello, it is I, Sir Darren of Kang, and as today is Doctor Who's 58th anniversary, oh my god, we're nearly at 60. Please, can we go to 60 years already so Russell T Davies can be in control? I'm hating this new Flux series. But that's not why I'm here. I'll upload a rant on that later on when Flux is finished. You've got that to look forward to. Oh, I got a brand new combine harvester. I'll give you the key. But anywho, so I'm going to tell you about some of my favorite Doctor Who episodes that I can recommend. I will go on different media, so Big Finish, comics, novels, and I might go one from each Doctor. Well, uh, not one from each Doctor, but one from each various Doctor. No, sorry, some multiple stories from each Doctor. But for the Eighth Doctor and Seventh, we're going to put them in different eras. So for the first Doctor, I would recommend is the first ever episode, An Unearthly Child. Of course, you will witness what everything was like back in the 60s, and you'll get to see how how TV quality was, and you'll see. I love how they explored the origin of fire for their first ever episode and went back to the caveman, the prehistoric era. Then for the second Doctor, I recommend Tomb of the Cybermen. It's one of my favourite Cybermen episodes because it explores into the Cybermen in hibernation, even though it has some stuff in the episode that might not fly so well today. Like Toberman, which is a character in the episode. It To me, it will always be one of my favorite episodes because of the effects as well. The special effects were good, and the way the Cybermen could speak and the Cybermen costumes. Third Doctor, I'd say Planet of the Daleks because the Doctor tries to infiltrate a Dalek base to prevent them from awakening an army on Spyrodon. And I love the sequence where it all floods the Daleks towards the end of the episode. For the fourth Doctor, I'd recommend City of Death. It's one of the most Genesis of the Daleks. It's one of the most iconic episodes out there. It explores the Daleks' origin, and it introduces Davros, who of course is one of the most notable Doctor Who villains of all time. And it also has that iconic scene where the fourth Doctor asks, "Do I have the right to touch these two wires together?" The fifth Doctor, Earthshock. Definitely watch this because it features the Cybermen at their best, in my opinion. Um, David Banks is my favourite cyber leader by far. No one can change my mind. Well, and Nicholas Briggs. But even though the ending is sad, I found it quite sad because I liked Tegan, Nyssa, and Adric together. The Cybermen, I like a lot of the sequences in this. So the Cybermen wake up sequence, the fighting sequences, and my favourite quote from Doctor Who, said by the Fifth Doctor: "Some people, small beautiful events, what life is all about." And actually, I'm wearing a sort of a cosplay shirt. Basically, I just drew question marks on it to look like the Fifth Doctor. For the Sixth Doctor, um, Trial of a Time Lord, I think. Either that or Attack of the Cybermen, because the Cybermen return again. The Sixth Doctor goes to Telos. We meet the Cyber Controller again. Um, Again, something I recommend to everybody. Sixth Doctor audios, if I can find it. The Juggernauts. Now, this takes place in between Resurrection and... No, it doesn't. Not Resurrection of the Daleks. Oh, yeah, another one for the Fifth Doctor, Resurrection of the Daleks. Because that was my first episode of classic Doctor Who that I got introduced to. Because the Fifth Doctor nearly kills Davros. And that's a pretty dark moment for the Doctor. And that's why I love Peter Davison, because he thinks things through. Should I do this? Should I kill Davros? And it has some of my favourite scenes. And so, sorry, back to the Sixth Doctor. Revelation of the Daleks is one that I also recommend, where they go in a funeral home, and it's got... and it's a good story for anyone. And Terry Malloy is my favourite Davros. Language between resurrection and revelation of the Daleks and remembrance of the Daleks, which is a Seventh Doctor story. Another one that I reckon, I'll get onto that later. The Juggernauts, where the Sixth Doctor and Mel, of course, meet Davros, and this was the first story to introduce Davros's mechanical hand. And of course, this is Daleks versus Mechanoids. It's very nice to see Davros living a double life in this, and it has some challenging moments of the Doctor and Mel's relationship, and a Sixth Doctor novel that I have, if I can find it, Instruments of Darkness. So this has the two Sixth Doctor companions meeting, so Melanie Bush and Evelyn Smythe, who was the oldest companion in Doctor Who history. I love Evelyn. I haven't heard her audios. I've only read this book, but from what I've read, I'm loving Evelyn. I wish we had older companions in the TARDIS. I'd personally prefer Sarah Castleman as the companion, or the Doctor. Next up, we have the Seventh Doctor. So there's a lot of good Seventh Doctor stories out there. I think he's one of my favourite. He had one of my favourite eras. So, Remembrance of the Daleks, Silver Nemesis with the Cybermen, the Greatest Show in the Galaxy, Survival. But my personal favourite is the Curse of Fenwick. Now, I love the Curse of Fenwick because it's basically like a Doctor Who horror movie with vampire-like things, and I love the lore that they've given Fenric, and I love how mysterious the Hemivores are, and I love the fact that they're probably from Warhammer 40k. But also because the Seventh Doctor, it's the first time that we see him bring his companion down, because to me, poor old Ace was one of my favourite companions, and so was the Seventh Doctor. And stories like this are why I remind us of what makes Doctor Who. Audios now. I've picked a few audios. So one of them is Revenge of the Swarm, which is one of the first Doctor Who audios I ever got, which has Ace and a new companion called Hector or Hex. I love how it flashes between Hector and Hex. And I love that it brings back the Swarm, and it comes close to consuming the entire universe. Novels, Time Rim Exodus. I'm not going to show the cover because it is a story about what if the Germans won World War II. Next up, we have Doctor Who Unit Dominion. So this is the man on the left is my favourite incarnation of the Master, Alex McQueen. So this is a box set from Big Finish, and I love how it's more of a multi-Doctor, then it turns into a Doctor Master story, and it includes the Seventh Doctor towards the end of his life. And it is very there's never a dull moment, and I love how there are 4 aliens within the story, and how it explores dimensions and how it could have a possible theory to beings from other dimensions. The Eighth Doctor is my personal favourite Doctor. Of course, we've got Doctor Who the movie. We've got and then he's done novels. So The Burning by Justin Richards. For me, this novel is very dark in places, but it's kind of like a Doctor Who horror thing again, and it talks about. So I'm just trying to find, because I forgot to include a few of my novels. It includes a few. You can have a look at my Doctor Who collection if you like. Um, and I love how it includes. Where are you, buddy? There you are. Oh, hold on a minute. So, yeah, The Burning is one that I recommend. It's the Eighth Doctor in Victorian England, and again, you can visualize it on as if it were on TV. Then we have 8 Big Finish audios. So, one of my favorite audios, Terra Firma. It basically has Charlie Pollard and Kerris. Charlie and Kerris were my favorite companions in Doctor Who. Like, I love how and this story actually has Julia Deakin, Lee Ingleby, and we've got some pretty big names here. And Lizzie Hockley. So Big Finish have a lot of big names in their audios. This is basically Daleks take over Earth. Davros succeeds. And I love the Daleks on the cover. They kind of look like the action figures from a distance. But yeah, one that I recommend. And also, I love the Eighth Doctor's wit in his stories. He makes them sound quite funny. Vengeance of Morbius for the Lucy Miller era. So I love this because it explores Gallifrey. It brings back Morbius, and also at the end we think the Doctor's dead, but really he isn't. So that was quite emotional for Lucy Miller. Lucy Bleeding Miller. Then we have Dark Eyes. Now, we get to see the Doc. This is a masterpiece, right? Why isn't Nick Briggs the showrunner of Doctor Who? This man needs to run everything Doctor Who. But this box set is, as Nick Briggs described, an era in a box set. He actually didn't know that they'd be making more Dark Eyes. Then it went on to Doom Collision, then Ravenous, then Stranded, and now the Time War. But this is one of my. I think we get to see the Doctor really, really broken up after he loses his companion. Like this, the Eighth Doctor. Like right, so this is how how emotional the Eighth Doctor got when he lost Lucy. This is more emotional when the 10th Doctor lost Rose. So the Eighth Doctor forced the TARDIS to go to the end of the universe to see how it all turned out, because he was that depressed, and he shouted at his own kind, the Time Lords. Like, this is a really broken version of the Doctor. Then we have Doom Coalition 4. I loved Doom Coalition. Dorney and Fitton, again, are great writers. They're some of my favourite writers. They're definitely on my Mount Rushmore of writers. So, a great conclusion. I love how the River Song moments don't interfere with the other timeline moments. I like the 11. He's a great villain. I love how he introduced the first Time Lord villain with voices from his past talking. Then Rufus Hound as the monk. I love the monk. And can I also just say, they had Weeping Angels in New York as well. Then we have the Sonomancer. Yeah, I loved the Sonomancer as well. I like her voice as well. I like the effects that they use for her voice. Then we have Padrak. I love Padrak as the main villain. Like, I hope we get a continuation to Doom Coalition where we see the Sonomancer's journey. And I like Nicola Walker as an actor and Hattie Morahan as Liv and Helen. Then we have Doctor Who Unbound. This is this is Doctor Who What If. So we have David Warner as an alternate third Doctor. So then he's meeting Davros. So this is a what if the Doctor helped the Thals to defeat the Daleks. And it's what if the Brigadier travelled with the Doctor. It's really a good what if story. I like David Warner's Doctor. I think we should have seen more of him. Then we head off to the Time War, Agents of Chaos. So this was one of the audio series done with John Hurt when he was still with us. I like how it includes Daleks and Sontarans, and this is a complete masterpiece. I'm glad they made it while John Hurt was still here, and Jacqueline Pearce for that matter. I love the Dalek time strategist. Like, he's so cold and calculating. Then we have the modern era of Doctor Who. So, Ninth Doctor, for the episode, I recommend Aliens in London and World War III. So that features the Slitheen. Then we have Only Human. So it's where the Ninth Doctor and Rose and Captain Jack discover a caveman 20,000 years after they became extinct. So then it's very quirky, it's very nice, and it's very peculiar. Then we have the Tennant era. Again, there are a lot of David Tennant episodes I can recommend to everyone. Like, I think the David Tennant era has got to be one of the best. My personal favourite is Daleks in Manhattan, and another one is Stolen Earth Journey's End. And so is New Earth. I like New Earth as well, because it exposes human experimentation, animal experimentation. That's what I loved about Russell T Davies, that his stories are so true to everything. Then we have Beautiful Chaos. Now, this episode is a 10th Doctor and Donna story, and I like how highlights astrology, uh, and it makes it, you know, it does it has the classic argument astrology versus science. Then we have a spin-off that got me into Doctor Who, the Sarah Jane Adventures. Of course, one of the great, of course, I wish that I liked the Slitheen best, and the Trickster, the Uvodni. I like the Slitheen and Uvodni episodes best, and for the 11th Doctor, we have my favourite Matt Smith story was Day of the Moon, and the Impossible Astronaut, because that's one of the best season openers that I'd ever seen. I love the speech that he makes to the Silence when he's finally infiltrates the Silence thing. And while the music is playing in the background, and that final fight scene is one of my favourite Doctor Who moments to ever exist. Then for 11 and Clara, it's got to be Nightmare in Silver, because it's a great reboot for the Cybermen, great redesign, nice premonitions for the War Doctor. Then we have the comic Four Doctors, featuring the War, 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctors. This is one of my favourite multi-Doctor stories because it has a lot of banter. It features a lot. It features a Doctor where a lot of things happen. Features the Doctor where a broken 12th Doctor when he completely lost it. And this panel here, don't know if you can see, was the first glimpse of the Time Lord Victorious. So all that Time Lord Victorious stuff last year, I think, came from this. Personally, 12th Doctor, I like the 12th Doctor. I wouldn't say he's had the best of eras, but I'd say his stories were very dark. You know, he's series 8 was very dark, and he was the Doctor who got serious until series 9 when he started playing guitar. My favorite episode of the 12th Doctor has to be the oh my god, what's Death in Water and Death in Heaven? Because obviously we all know the Cybermen were coming back, but then Missy returned at the same time. I was like, and obviously our reaction was, what? She's the Master? And I think we didn't see that coming. But I also like the episode, and I also like the 12th Doctor's quotes as well. I think he can be quite realistic as well. So he said, it doesn't matter who your enemy is as long as there's always mercy. 13th Doctor, the only good 13th Doctor episode we've ever had on is Revolution of the Daleks. That's because it's had, pardon me, that's because it had Captain Jack Harkness. That's because it had the Daleks in. I don't think there's been any really good 13th Doctor stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not a 13th Doctor fan. Yeah. So then again, do buy some of these from Big Finish, Forbidden Planet, Amazon. Buy them anywhere you want. Yeah, so I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. So goodbye, good night, too sweet.